Alright, welcome back to Season 4 of our show, and today we're taking you for a wonderful trip back to the South. We're making some fried chicken wings, ham hocks with beans, and some mouth-watering crackling cornbread. Let's show you how to get it done. Alright, it's a trip back to the South. So we're showing you a few different recipes today, all in one, but it's going to make a complete meal. Fried chicken, ham hocks, and beans. Process of elimination, so let's just get our ham hocks off to the side, and let's move our chicken off to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is get our cornbread done. So this is a traditional cornbread. Requires some bacon, cornmeal, flour. That's about it, and buttermilk. So we got flour in here. We got some cornbread in here. Now a lot of people are very confused about their cornbread because they say, you know, I like my cornbread sweet. I like my cornbread dry. I like my cornbread like cake. It all breaks down to the amount of flour versus cornmeal that you put in here. So for example, if you like your cornbread a little bit more cornbready, a little bit more drier, you're gonna add more cornbread. The ratio might be 75% cornmeal to 25% flour, or 100% cornmeal and no flour. The more flour you put in here, the cakier it's gonna be. And I don't mean cakey meaning caking up on you, I mean cake, like chocolate cake, vanilla cake, that type of cake. That's what's going to happen the more flour you put in here. So right now I have a 25% ratio of flour to 75% ratio of cornmeal. We're going in with some baking powder, a little teaspoon of that. It's about 4 cups in here all total. And now we're just going to mix our milk in. Our buttermilk. Now if you don't have buttermilk, any milk will do. Preferably whole milk. And you just want to get your ratios right. Just put the milk in and feel it out. And just keep folding in. All right, let's see what we're working with now. That's about right. All right, off to the side we go with this. And here's our bacon. So I'm going to bring our bacon in. I'm just showing you, I cut some up already. I'm just showing you how you want to cut this. So this was a whole piece of bacon, and you just want to cut it in slivers like this. Because we're going to fry this up, and we're going to put this in our cornbread. This is why they call it crackling cornbread. Because we're going to fry it up, and get it nice and crispy in there, and you'll have your crackling cornbread. All right, so we got that. Onto the stove we go. All right, so we're rendering down this bacon. I figured I'd give you guys a little head start here just to show you what we're doing. That's how tiny you want the pieces to be. Now I'm going to put a little onion in here just to bring in some flavor. Deglaze that pan just a little bit too. And that's what the onion's going to do. And keep all of the fat in this pan. That's what we want to do. We want to keep all the fat in here. All right, I'm going to finish rendering this, and then right before we put our batter in here, I'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our bacon is rendered down. That's how rendered you want this. That's what we call it crackling. So we're just going to get this out. Get it on a plate. And don't worry about the little bits that are in here. You see how hot that pan is? That's what you want. Now I turned off the heat. Just so I can show you what's going on here. So turn off the heat, get your bacon out, and you don't have to worry about getting every last drop out, as you're about to see why. All right. Here's our bread. Let's get some in. Hear that noise? That's what you want. That exact noise right there. I'm just going to spread it around. Get it even. Just like that. And just make sure you spread it around. Any oil that comes from the top, just get it right on the bread. And just push it out to the sides. All right, here's our bacon. You didn't think that was going to go to waste, did you? Right on top. I'm just going to even it out. We'll just get all that beautiful crackling in there. That's why we call it crackling. Just get it nice and even. All right, into a preheated oven at 425 until it's done, which should take about 30 minutes. We'll meet you right back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Meet you right back here, don't go anywhere. All right, we got our crackling cornbread in the oven. That's 1 down, 2 to go. So right here I've got some ham hocks. Now these are the ankle of a pig, smoked. So these would be shanks if they weren't smoked. These happen to be called ham hocks because they're smoked. They're smoked shanks and they have lots of meat on them. I smoke these myself. I leave them in the freezer for times like this. So very easy to make. Now we're going into a pressure cooker with these today. Now a lot of people today call these Instapots, but years ago they were called a pressure cooker and they got a bad name because they used to explode on people, some of the cheap ones that you get out there. So if you get a cheap one, don't use them. All right, so the hocks are in there. And now we're making a broth. So we're gonna do everything in the pot. So this is how this is gonna go. We got our beans here. They've been boiled down, so I pre-boiled these the day before. Always do that because it saves you a lot of time, and then you can put whatever you want to put in there. You might not want to use all of these beans for what we're doing today, and you might want to separate them out. So it saves time if you're cooking for large amounts of people. Always do your beans the day before, and then you just make a broth, and then you can add it to the beans, like we're doing today. All right, here's our onions. It's like 2.5 onions in here. And we're gonna hold a couple of those onions back in case you want some on your food. Bay leaves. We're going with a couple of bay leaves and crushed red pepper. Now we're not adding any salt because ham hocks are cured in salt. We're gonna leave a link in the description to a ham hock video, and this way you can see how they're made. So there it is. There's a crushed pepper. You can add as much or as little or none if you want. Now we're gonna add some water. And we're going to bring it up to our max line. Now keep in mind you are making a broth. So I'm going to take this to about there because that's the amount of broth I want in. I'm going to make sure everything is down into the pot. I'm going to give this about 1 hour on the clock and that's it. So let's just lock this on. 1 hour on the clock. And there you have it. I'm going to bring a pot in. These are our beans. I'm gonna move this onion off to the side. Like I said, we cook these down. So right in the pot they go. This was 2 pounds, actually 2.5 pounds of beans. And that's what you're gonna need. I got some more onion here. I'm just gonna put some fresh onion right in there. Just like that. In fact, we'll put a little bit more. Onion makes this dish. So you might want to go in with some good amount of onion. And I'm going to go in with just a little jalapeno in here. Just drop a couple in there. Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly afterwards. Don't touch anything because you'll be on fire. I'm using the lower half of this. Now, you don't have to add this at all, but you got a lot of broth in here, you got a lot of liquid, that little bit of pepper that I added there. That's one flavor. And now this is a different pepper, so it's another flavor. That was red chili flakes. This is jalapeno. The jalapeno together mixed with the red chili flakes, outstanding. All right, I'm gonna get situated here and then on to the chicken we go, so stick around, don't go anywhere. Time to check on our bread. It's looking pretty good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to rotate this around. First I'm going to check it and see where we're at. I'm gonna go right through. Came out pretty clean. I like a little bit more crisp on top, so I'm gonna give it about another 5 minutes. Just rotate it, and that's it. We'll pull it out, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we got 2 down, 1 more to go. So here's our chicken. Now these are washed clean. You should always wash your meat. You have to. You don't know where this came from. It could have fell on the floor. It could have glass in it. You just don't know. You don't know slaughterhouses. You don't know how anybody keeps their butcher shop. So always wash your meats. I don't care what it is. Just make sure you rinse your meats. All right, so right here we got some flour. Now this is a 75% flour mix to 25% cornmeal. It's the same cornmeal we made the cornbread with. There's nothing in it, either or. So there's nothing inside the flour and there's nothing inside the cornmeal until now. So we're gonna season it. I got a homemade rub here. Paprika, garlic, onion powder, touch of cayenne. And this is how you wanna mix this. I'm gonna zip it. I'm gonna give it a shake. Just like that. So you always wanna season your flour before you fry chicken. All right, that's it. That fast, that simple, that easy. All right, so now we got some salt, we got some pepper. We're going in with the chicken. And by the way, there was no salt in those rubs. So here's our chicken. We're going in with some pepper. Now this is fried chicken, and you're gonna need a good amount of black pepper on it. If you don't wanna have the pepper, you don't have to have it, but it just really makes a really great southern chicken. Here's the salt. As much or as little as you like. Just make sure you mix it in. Now you notice we didn't use a lot of salt in anything. I mean, we let that bacon flavor that cornbread. We're letting those ham hocks flavor the beans. So everything is just pretty much natural. All right, there we go. And now we're going in with our rub. Again, this has no salt in it. So we season the flour. Now you gotta season the chicken. And we're frying this in lard. That's right, lard. I was gonna use tallow, but we gotta hold some lard. So fresh lard from the butcher. I didn't make this one myself. He made it. And there it is. All right. The pressure cooker's got some time, and we're just gonna fry this up while we're waiting on our pressure cooker. And then we're gonna meet you back here. Onto the stove we go. Let's fry up some chicken. All right, first thing we're gonna do is test our lard. So, a little flour in there. We got a little bit of a sizzle. I'm gonna turn it up to number 7, so medium high. And now I'm gonna start to get my wings in while this is still heating up. So I'm just gonna go with about 4 of them. Now what I do is, because this is a messy job, I keep a rag that's here. That way I can wipe my hands, and you just can't work with gloves with this one. So you're gonna have to just clean up real well with it. I zip the bag, like that. Not working over the hot grease. And now you wanna just shake the bag up, like shake and bake. But it's not shake and bake. So now we release the bag, open it up, and now we're gonna get our chicken out. So I'm gonna move my rag. I'm gonna bring the bag closer, but just make sure you don't burn the bag on the eye, because you will put a hole in the bag, and it's not gonna be too good for you now. And I'm working right over the bag, so I'm gonna bring my chicken up to the top, shake off the excess flour, and I'm gonna fold my wings in. So this is how you wanna fold a wing. Take the wing, cross it over the back of the leg of the wing, and there you have it. And now I'm gonna go into the oil. So I'm gonna hold it like that. I'm gonna go in like that. Now that first piece is gonna determine how hot that oil is. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit to medium heat. Because the more chicken you put in here, the cooler it's going to be. So again, I'm just going to fold my wings in back. I'm going to drop it in. And don't run from the grease. Nice and calm. I'm going to fold it. And in the grease we go. I'm going to just push it away from me. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to get these in here. And we're going to meet you right back here when we're frying them up. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, our chicken's frying nice and easy. Now that's how you want to fry this. Old-fashioned. And you're going to turn it with a pitchfork. So I'm just going to look at the pieces I want to turn over, and I'm just going to turn them over. Now some of these wings came untied, so you just work with them anyway. That's what they do. Some of them will just pop loose on you. Still trying to fly away. Alright, I'm going to look around, see which ones I want turned over. And you just want a nice, gentle fry. A lot of you guys might ask me, why not use a deep fryer? Guess what? Chicken like this, amazing. A deep fryer can't compare to cast iron, old school pan frying. Alright, I'm going to flip these over some more. We're going to check on them, let them cook a little bit more, but the entire cooking process for this is going to take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes if you're doing it nice and easy like this. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Alright, time to start getting some of these guys out of here. So I'm just going to look around and I'm going to pull some of these out. And when you pull them out, strain them over the other pieces. Just like that. Whoop. And do your best with the pitchfork to get a little piece. It's the only time you want to poke this is at the end. So just grab the ones out that you feel are done to your liking. I mean, this one for 20 minutes, it's done. See that? Just hold them over there, drain them, get them right on. Alright, we're going to get these out of here. And we're going to get back to you and show you what's going on with those beans, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, our cornbread's done, our chicken's done. Let's show you how to complete these beans. Alright, so now our ham hocks are done, they're ready to go into the beans. Now I switched pots because I wanted to make this a lot easier and simpler for you guys to just look into instead of looking down a big pot. So let's get our ham hocks out. Look at these guys. Whew. And they are hot. You can see all that nice steam coming from there. Now also too, if you don't want to do this the same night or the same day, you could just cool these ham hocks and just put them right to the side and just rewarm them inside the bean. But look at that, the meat's just falling right off of those. That's exactly what you want. And you want ham hocks with meat on them. So what I do is when I pick out my hock, I pick out the shank, and I only pick out the ones with meat on them. Now the ones that you buy in the store today, they're not giving you guys any meat. And that's the problem with buying shanks that are store-bought, or hocks that are store-bought. It's they skimp on the meat nowadays. They came from a big pig, and that's what you want. They're not ankles, they're cankles. And look at that, see? Just get all that nice meat right in there. I'm just gonna spread them around. That's the last one, it's going in the middle. And now that's a meal by itself. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoop out all my onion in here with this ladle. I'm gonna get rid of my bay leaves because they're all nice and used up. And any bones or anything else like that that you find in there, which would just be bones or anything else that you put in here that you don't want in the bean, just pull it out. All right, so now, ladle. Let's get some of this beautiful broth in here, and this is what's really gonna make the dish. Without this, they're just beans. And then we're gonna put them back onto the stove. Now they're a little bit on the hard side, those beans. Not very hard, but I took them out just a little bit early. So this way they could just get an extra half hour just to go into the pot. And we get just a little bit more broth. And they're gonna tighten up as they're on the stove too, so don't worry about that. And you can add more broth as you go along. And that's it. And the next day you can also heat these up and you got a beautiful broth, or save that broth, don't throw it away, because you can save that for several things. And this week we're cooking some greens. We're actually making some mustard greens, and we're going to show you how to use that inside the mustard greens so that stock is not going to waste. All right, that's it. Onto the stove we go. We'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are. Season 4's chopping block, fried chicken, ham hocks and beans, and crackling cornbread. Let's show you what we got. Look at those wings. Beautiful. I mean, look at the color on them. And that's how you want to do that. All right, let's show you these beans. Look at those guys. Beautiful. Now look at this. You see that? That's what you're looking for right there. Let's stop looking and start plating. Bring a plate in. Now, of course, we had rice with it. We make that rice just a little on the sticky side, just so we can hold those beans, and we want a little bit drier on the rice so we can soak in those beans. So don't add a lot of water to your rice if you're going to go with beans, because you just want them to soak in all those flavors from the bean. All right, so I'm going to go in with a ham hock. I'll just get that plate in here. And I'm going to park a ham hock right onto that plate. Just like that. And followed by some of those beautiful beans. I ain't jiving. Look at that. Here we go. I'm going to put this right here. This is how I grew up. You took your cornbread and look at all that juice on the plate, and you parked your cornbread right on the side to absorb all that juice. And I'm going to swing this around. Let's just clean up our plate a little bit. I mean, there's nothing fancy about this. This is just good eating. And I'm just going to get some fried chicken right onto the plate here. Get a couple of those wings to stand up. And that's what you want. Just like that. Nothing fancy about this one. All right, let's give this a shot. And get my knife and fork, and I'm going to get right into that ham hock. I just want to show you how this cuts. Look at the skin on here. See, a lot of people don't cook these correctly, and they don't get all the meat off of them. But watch this. That just pulls right apart, just like that. You can just take your knife and push it apart. That's how you want that shank, just like that. Now we'll get some rice in here. Let's give that a shot. Outstanding. That's Southern down-home cooking at its finest. Let's try that chicken. As soon as I get off camera, this plate doesn't stand a chance. That chicken is just beautiful. Let's try that cornbread. I tell you, if you guys never had crackling cornbread, this is it. It's very rich, extremely rich. The bread is not dry. It's excellent. I highly suggest you give that one a try. All right, I'm gonna get situated and we're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. Southern comfort food at its finest. We threw down today with some fried chicken wings, ham hocks and beans over white rice. We finished off with some cornbread, crackling cornbread with bacon in the pan too. Never go wrong with too much bacon. We thank you guys. We enjoyed you coming. And with no further ado,